Welcome, YouTube subscribers. This is Mike with the microphone. It's such a pleasure to be here today with you guys. So, last week, before we get into the story, we're doing a story time today. So, I have a follow up story that I'm going to tell you on my introductory get to know me video from a week ago when I posted it. And thank you guys for tuning in and subscribing. I really do appreciate you guys. I went from 0 subscribers to 7 subscribers in 1 week. So 7 subscribers is definitely good for me coming from somebody with no following. So I thank everybody who took the time to subscribe. So I am really appreciative of any subscribes that I get because I have more good stories to come, more motivational things to come. So please subscribe here. You can also follow me on Instagram at Real Talk 006 or on Facebook is Microphone Mike, spelled Mike. Microphone Mike, Mike. So today my story time is about how I landed in living in that family member's house that I talked about on my first video, which was like a dreadful place to stay. And I was there like 3 years. I really refer to it as like the dark ages. So this story is about like how I landed into what I consider to be the dark ages. And I call it the dark ages because a lot of reasons. They did not have a lot of food. Uh, I didn't have like a lot of clean clothing. I was basically like a child living out of a suitcase. I was living out of a suitcase that I had like a lock onto. I had a lock for my suitcase, which is very strange. Like no dresser, no traditional bed like everybody else had. I was living out of a suitcase with no real bed or no real legitimate place that was my own to sleep in the household. So how this story begins is that after my mother passed away, it was me and my 2 sisters. I had 2 older sisters, so I don't recall who we were living with at this time, but we were about to leave that place, whoever we were living with at the time. So we only had a few options of one of my sister's friends. Her mother had agreed that we could stay there with them. I don't know how long we were supposed to be living there. I don't know what that arrangement was supposed to be. But I remember before we went there, I just remember my sister saying that, I won't say these people's names, but I can remember her saying that these people are crazy. But see, the way she said it, my mind, it just led me to believe that they were crazy, not like completely crazy, but just like crazy in a in a not so bad kind of like a good way almost. Like if you use lingo and you are from the South, like somebody will know exactly what I mean. So we proceeded to stay at these people's house, and for a while it seemed to be going very good and very smooth. But when I say a while, I mean only like 1 week or so. And then that's when the problems arose. Like, I feel like my sister at this time, also my oldest sister, who was like the leader of, my second sister and she was like the leader. She was only like 15 or 16 years old at the time. And she was working like a job as well as going to school. She was working a job at like a restaurant. So I can remember my sister's friend's mother asking or kind of like demanding some money from my sister. And my sister was only working like a little part-time job at the most, making her money was very limited. Plus, she had to look after my other sister and I and herself, own that little money. So this just really like affected my soul deeply. And I can just remember my sister saying she doesn't have any money, to give her. So the lady literally made us leave in the middle of the night. So the way our town is set up, there is a main highway that that runs through the entire town. So picture this, y'all. 3 children essentially walking down the middle of a highway in the middle of the night. It must have been like 1, 2, or 3 in the morning. And what ended up happening is that night, I guess my sister called her manager. He was just a nice person who believed in her. So he was her manager at the restaurant. So he got us a hotel room for that night. Thank God, such a nice, friendly, stand-up person, right? And that's when the next day is when like the state of Mississippi stepped in. So they placed my two sisters in a foster home. And ta-da, that is when I ended up at that family member's house for that long 3 year stretch of time. I mean, it was horrible. It was like it was just a horrible situation that I had to endure for like 3 long years. And I just can't imagine when I look back on it now, I just think about like being in the eighth grade and really just being control of your own life like I was. Like, I feel like if I had not made the decision to leave there at that 3 year mark when I did on my own, I think I probably would have been there until maybe like 18 years old. They did not want to place me with my brother for some reason, but I just had to make the executive decision as a child to just leave that on my own. And I think I want the motto or the theme of this show, like every episode, to be y'all stick together, because that was the last words I can remember my mother ever saying to my siblings and I, like while she was on her deathbed. So I want the theme of my YouTube channel, to be y'all stick together, because I feel like, man, I feel like the world could use that saying, that knowledge, that wisdom of y'all stick together. And especially our black community, we can definitely use that. Y'all stick together, because we need to be sticking together. And overall, I think, the world's people need to stick together. And thank you guys for taking the time to anybody that, once again, I just want to reiterate how much I just would appreciate anybody that would like and subscribe to my page. Like, it's a compliment that somebody took the time to subscribe and actually wants to hear what people have to say, because I have a story that is America's story. So once again, follow me on Facebook at Microphone Mike, spelled Mike. Instagram, Real Talk 006. And here on YouTube, Microphone Mike. And until next time, y'all stick together.